It started with an idea. What can we do to improve our culture of safety? Every project is personal, and we want every decision, whether made by an entry-level employee or senior management, to start with safety. It doesn't apply only at work, but at home as well. Getting people to buy in starts with building relationships. The more relationships we build, the greater the safety awareness, and the more we can accomplish. As an industry, we can change, and we are changing. At Pioneer, we're reaching out. We're inviting our clients to stand with us as we continue our journey of creating a holistic culture of safety so we can all be safer as we perform our daily jobs.
Safety, without a doubt, is the most important thing we do every day. At the end of the day, if every employee at Pioneer comes home to their family safe after a hitch, then we've been successful.
Safety is the ability to perform daily tasks or functions without injury. It's knowing what should be done and doing it. How do you approach performing those functions and tasks when nobody's watching?
Safety to us here at Marathon is really about protecting the people that are working on our site, as well as the community in which we're operating. It's a very personal commitment. It starts with the individual, and it starts with me.
It's not just a task that you put on when you arrive at your office or at the rig. It's a way of living.
When people talk about operating in a safe environment and safely, it's an expression of their values and of their core culture.
The biggest thing in Pioneer that's changed is the culture. We've worked to create the Live Safe culture, which is a culture of caring about not only the people that work for us, but the people that work around us and the people at home.
What we want to build here at Pioneer is a culture where our employees feel confident in stopping unsafe work. And that's our responsibility as management, that's our responsibility as rig leadership, safety support. Everyone in Pioneer's responsibility is to build that culture where our employees feel an opportunity to do that.
Safety is the ultimate core value, and if you cannot do safety right, can you do any of your other business right?
We're entrusted with a lot of responsibility for the people, responsibility for the community, and for us to gain that trust, earn that trust, we have to operate in a safe, in a safe manner.
Having safety as a value is critical to be successful. Owning that, personally, I come from a medical background. Transferring that into the industry that's inherently has high-risk operations that require a focus on safety and values around that, and making that part of your core is a challenge. You have to do those things that are fundamental to instill safety as a value. That's coaching, that's mentoring, that's the behavioral-based safety programs. That's embracing the successes, rewarding and honoring those as the right way to do the business.
It's just a new oil field, a new generation of people that we're getting. A lot of the younger people that we're having to train, we're also embedding a culture within that attitude, and with the hopes that they'll be able to work safer.
Communication, to me, is the single most important element in having a safe environment. Our clients, along with our folks out there on the rig sites, are speaking more about what's expected, what's going to happen, what's coming next.
Communication is critical. I mean, on our side of it, our well site supervisor and the field superintendents and the drilling superintendents, they have to be talking continuously and discussing safety issues if there's anything that comes up, or just general operations. And if you don't talk about that and share it with the other people on that rig and maybe other rigs, then that gets kind of brushed under the rug, and nobody can learn from it.
I think encouraging employees to take the time to get to know each other and also to learn what communication style works best for them. Talk to them, understand where is what does not connect with them about safety, and try to understand their perspective, but also try to make sure they understand the company's perspective and why it's important that they buy into safety at a personal level.
Communication is the #1 key in any industry. Without proper and clear communication, people get hurt.
Communication is one of those critically important factors, but it's such a broad topic. For our company, communication within our management systems means that we're getting incidents and we're getting feedback from our folks in the field to tell us where we need to improve. It also is incumbent on management to communicate to our folks in the field about our vision, about our expectations, and about the rights to go ahead and exercise their stop work authority, to go ahead and do the right thing every day.
Every problem I've ever had, when you look at it and you diagnose it, it's because we didn't communicate properly.
Communication is a key piece to being successful in the operation. Around safety, it's even more critically important. Changes in the job scope, changes in the job responsibilities, all are a key piece of our business and happen fairly routinely. To communicate that effectively, to be successful in that environment takes a team effort.
There has to be clear expectations. Communication plays a huge part in that. Communication in terms of the highest level expectations for the organization, making sure that those expectations are translated down through the organization in a way that makes it meaningful.
When I tell you something, it's crystal clear in my mind what my intention is. But based on your life experiences, you may hear what I have to say and read from it an interpretation different than I intended. That's where some of the leadership training can come into play, is to train our managers to not just talk at people, but to verify the understanding that they're trying to communicate from the other party. Because if we had truly perfect communication, this whole process would be a lot easier.
Each individual is responsible for their safety and the safety of the people and things around them. I can play a very important role in keeping our employees safe, merely by passing on to them the knowledge that I have. And my personal commitment to safety is to do just that.
Everybody's responsible for safety. Each and every employee, each and every contractor is responsible for safety. And the reason that is we have to make sure that we're all on the same page. And if only one person's responsible for the safety of that location, then we're going to fail.
A person has to have that mindset to where they're always thinking about what's going on around them. They have that situational awareness and the focus to keep themselves out of trouble.
The person himself is responsible. The crew members that on that team are responsible, and the leadership of the organization is responsible, starting with me. My personal commitment to safety is doing everything I can at Pioneer to create a culture where our employees feel empowered to stop the job. They understand, and we educate them the best we can on the implications of at-risk behaviors or a workplace incident, and that we have a culture where our guys feel comfortable in reporting near miss.
Guys watching out for other guys on the rig is important. If you don't watch out for other people, then somebody's going to get hurt. And if you don't take the personal responsibility to do it right, then you're either going to hurt yourself or hurt somebody else.
Every person involved in your organization should have the same personal commitment to that goal. It does require the management to certainly set the objectives, to set the tone at the top, and to see to it that the processes are in place to give all the employees that opportunity to make that commitment and to learn what it takes to be safe.
You know, I think teams are very important. You know, at Pioneer, individuals aren't successful, teams are successful. Now, with the way we're drilling in a lot of manufacturing type of environments, there's a lot of third parties that are involved, and they're very important to our success, and we're very important to their success. So what we've got to create is a team atmosphere on our operations where it's not just Pioneer employees, it's anyone involved in a Pioneer rig operation is part of the Pioneer team.
You go to a rig site, there can be as many as 10 different companies represented there. And so if there is no teamwork, then each group works individually. You're not looking out for one another. And so there's always the opportunity for someone to do something that is unsafe. And so building that teamwork on a location, using contractors that are experts in their field, is one of the things that we strive to do.
Teamwork is key to making these projects run. I mean, I think that's been one of the great things that have come out of the kind of the shale revolution is most of these rigs are new and contracts are long on land. They're 3-year terms for the most part. Most of them run longer than that, and that's when we've been able to build that teamwork and that safety culture because everybody's working. Side by side for year after year. I mean, you pretty much have dedicated type crews working with Carrizo. So, I mean, we're working with the same guys every day, which just allows us to work safer, allows us to work faster, allows us to be just more efficient.
Working as a team does have very definite appearance to it. You can see it when you pull up onto a job site and you see them working as a team. They know what each other are doing, and they know what to do in relationship to what another guy's doing. When they're working together, they're working toward one goal. That goal is to work injury and incident free.
Well, there's absolutely nothing more effective than having a bunch of like-minded, safety-conscious individuals working at a site or doing a function together, because no one's perfect at this, and everyone's got varying degrees of commitment to it and experience and knowledge regarding safety. So I think if you can have a work environment where people are personally committed to safety, are well-trained, and all working together from different vantage points and facets, you have the absolute greatest opportunity for total safety.
Everybody wants to be a part of a winning team. When I think about the contractor and the operator relationship, I mean, I don't see it as a us versus them. I mean, it's very much a partnership and something that, we have to be fully aligned with our contractors to ensure that there's a consistent message, both in terms of our expectations around safety, as well as, the operations.
As everyone knows, you don't succeed by yourself, and people go much farther in their lives and in their careers, and operations are much more successful when multiple ideals are on the table, when multiple thoughts are being generated, solutions, recognitions, experiences are all brought forth. My expectations around the teamwork here is that everybody's idea counts and should be validated. Every idea is a good one. It may not exactly fit the current environment or may not be able to put it in place on that particular day, but it's at some point, it's a thought process that, we thought about that previously, maybe it applies somewhere else. That kind of generation, that type of support around ideas and supporting operations and the growth prospects around that, and how you encourage your team to be actively engaged in processes to be better. From a safety standpoint, that's critically important. From just daily operations in general, solving problems.
When we see a team member, whether that's a Pioneer employee or a third-party employee that's doing an at-risk behavior or not using safe work practices, that we have an obligation as a team member to talk to them. And some of those conversations are difficult, but I always think about, what would their family want me to have? Would they want me to be having this conversation? And I think without a doubt, we would say, yes, they do.
One of the things I like to do is start a conversation, whether it be in the office, in the field, with employees or contractors. I like to start a conversation with safety. I like to let people know that safety is on my mind and communicate that early in our conversation. One of the things we do every day that is very hazardous is drive. It doesn't take very long once you leave the house to be committed to safety, because you have to be aware of your surroundings, you have to be a defensive driver, and you have to take that, I think, to work every day, and it starts when you leave the house.
Without a doubt, the highest risk activity that our employees do every day is driving to and from work. So companies like Pioneer are educating their employees on driving safe, tax-free. We have lost employees in this company and a lot in this industry on their personal time, driving their families around or driving to and from work. Safety is not something we leave at the drilling rig. Safety is something we got to take with us 24/7.
Hey man, you need to put that phone away.
Oh man, it's just my wife. She's reminding me to pick something up before I get home.
It could wait.
You're right.
There's so many people on the roads now with so many varying different skills driving and with a lot of distractions, whether it's a cell phone or radio or eating or putting on makeup. And I see that. You know, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to get caught up into that. So I have to constantly be aware. And Live Safe has helped me become more aware of that. And I've been personally committed to helping my family as well. I have a son who started driving a couple years ago, and it helped him build those good habits of driving, put the cell phone away and things like that. And so that's where it becomes very personal.
Last year, we had over 7 million miles driven. So there's a lot of hazards every day that we overcome, but yet there's a lot of hazards that we have to address.
At the earliest moment in young people's lives, we need to start inducting that mentality of safety. Too often, that's an element that's overlooked. Whether you're at home, you're doing an activity with your neighbors or your family, or working out on the rig. You have to have the same mentality all the time.
I think it's important for people to understand that it isn't a light switch where one day it's off and the next day it's on. My personal commitment has grown as my knowledge has grown. So it's no absolute right or wrong. All I know is that my personal commitment to safety today is far greater than it was a year ago, which at that time it was far greater than it was the year before. So it's a continuum, it's a journey to try to reach greater degrees of commitment.
Our industry is and has always been a performance-based industry. We have a lot of pressure and there's a lot of stress out there in order to get the job done in as little time as we can. That's why safety sometimes is challenging. The thought process back earlier on was, you know, we're just wasting time. We need to be doing the task. We don't need to be talking about it. It was just accepted that you was going to get your fingers smashed or you know, lacerations to a degree that you'd have to go in and get a stitch, broken bones. It was a very macho industry and it's very performance oriented. You know, if you were doing something that did not have anything to do with the task at hand, you were wasting time. That was the attitude.
The old mentality of you got to be tough and you got to not wear your safety glasses and that's okay. I mean, that sort of stuff's gone now. They take safety to heart. They take safety home.
For a long while, it was accepted in our industry that injuries were just part and parcel to the job. At Pioneer, we came to the realization that there had to be a better way. And I think that a lot of other companies are starting to believe the same thing, that this industry doesn't have to be the way it was in the years past.
Back when I started, it wasn't unusual to see guys on, you know, running around the location without hard hats or without steel-toe boots or things like that. But now you never see that happen. Everybody has become, I think, more aware of the potential danger out there. And people maybe not knowing where to be or being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So everybody's kind of starting to look out for each other a little bit better. I see that a lot more in the last few years than I did early part of my career.
In the last 5 years, there's been a great acceleration of technological change, specifically the man-machine interface in the drilling and the production services industries has increased tremendously. We have tools now that we work with that are iron roughnecks, they're pipe handlers, AC motors have all contributed to a safer work environment for our people.
Innovation in the oil field has come quite a long ways. I believe that there have been several things that have greatly improved the safety in the industry, and probably my personal opinion is one of those is the pipe handling capability of rigs.
There's been a lot of investments by a lot of contractors, drilling contractors, service contractors in making sure we have the best equipment. This rig behind us is a great example of that. We've got hydraulic catwalks. One of the most dangerous things we used to do was pick up, lay down machines. That's been eliminated altogether. We've got BOP handling equipment. So instead of having trucks back in, a lot of different people involved, third parties involved, we've got one lift and only one brake on the BOP. And then of course the tubular handling, which you see with the ST80. We very seldom use tongs anymore. And all these things have taken higher risk activities completely out of the job. That's been one thing, and that's a trend that I think we'll continue to see. The other thing I think that is something I've seen the industry really focus more is on our people. We can have the best equipment in the world, but it's still some potential risk out there if we don't use it right. And really focusing on the impact, not only training people on the procedures to work safe, but also training them on understanding the impact not only on themselves, but on their families if they don't work safe. So not just focusing on the how to work safe, really focusing on the why to work safe.
I think the future is very bright for our industry. We've got a lot of young professionals coming into our business. Coming into our business today at this point in time, there's a great responsibility for those that have been around to ensure that they're getting off on the right foot. The opportunities are great, the responsibilities are great as well. Much is asked of a lot of our tenured employees that have experience to make sure that we're setting the right tone for those folks that are coming in and trying to get the best possible training, the best possible experience so that they can then carry this industry forward for the next 20, 30 years.
In a lot of ways, we're not reinventing new ways that employees get hurt. We're doing the same mistakes, the same at-risk behaviors that have led to incidents in the past. We've got to put a stop to that cycle, and we've made a lot of progress in that area, but to get to that next level of incident-free operations, we are not going to get there if we keep making the same mistakes of the past.
We can have the best technology, the best iron out there, great leadership. As new people come in, we have to be very aware that they're going to carry some good habits with them, but they very well carry a lot of bad habits with them. The guidance that we give them is crucial. They're going to use that guidance every step of their life. So we need to be able to spend the time and money and effort on the people who we welcome to help us in our everyday tasks and getting the knowledge they need, getting the safety skills they need to help themselves stay safe and the people around them.
5 years from now, 3 years from now, that we will even be a safer company than we are today.
I feel like in 10 years, the job is going to require some of the same things it requires today in the light of teamwork and a thought process around safety and being concerned about your individuals. Those are all going to be cores. That'll never change. From a technology standpoint, from an education standpoint, and from the abilities, skill sets, it'll be more and more technical. It'll be more and more value-driven around technology, applications of electronics, and data analysis, and the ability to capitalize on that data and make decisions even faster than we make them today.
The more things you can do without having people involved in heavy equipment, obviously the better chance you've got of keeping people safe. I mean, getting the job done efficiently but safely is extremely important to me personally and to our company.
Safety in our company in the future will be one of working with expert contract and service providers, ones that share our core values, one that provide visible leadership in the field. Their workforce is well-trained, and they help us accomplish our goals, not only from a production and reserve standpoint, but more importantly from a safety standpoint.
Personal safety commitment, it starts in the office. We have a drilling meeting here every morning at 8 o'clock. We go through every report, every rig, and especially any kind of safety incidents that happen. And a lot of times it's the near misses that are more important.
I really believe looking at upstream performance measures is extremely important. Using such things as hazard ID, near misses, first aids, they give you a strong indication of where you may have problems in the future. So we set goals, and then we measure ourselves against those goals, and we share that with the employees on a monthly, quarterly, and annual basis, because you get what you measure.
We can prevent a lot of things from actually becoming an event by good near-miss reporting. If we do that, we've got an opportunity to investigate, put safeguards in place on a near-miss where no one got hurt versus an actual situation where we had an employee get hurt. So we've got to ensure we're setting the right type of atmosphere where that communication happens. The other thing we've got to make sure that we do is when we do have those incidents, that we treat it like an actual incident, that we investigate it, and that we have a means to communicate that to the field.
I feel as if the behavioral-based safety programs and the similar programs that exist in the industry have done a great job in driving the value proposition related to safety. It's a key piece in empowering an individual, in mentoring an individual, and in providing them the accountability to work safe on a location.
The success or failure of a behavior-based system, a behavior-based safety program, is really about getting everybody in the game. We cannot improve until we know where we have problems. And so that behavior-based system really, in order for it to take hold and really kind of get traction and make an impact on our operations, we really need participation.
Behavioral-based safety is really the foundation of the difference that we're making in this industry. And when you find either a new employee or a seasoned veteran in a bad position with their hands somewhere they shouldn't be, standing where they shouldn't be, having a culture and having the courage to step in and make a difference in a guy's life, that's what we see in a lot of cases when we look at injuries. There was a behavior that has probably gone on many times without somebody getting hurt, and nobody took the time to correct it before somebody get hurt. And then after the fact, we kind of look at it and go, you know, we've been doing that for a while. There's a better way to do it.
To me, the behavioral-based training that we started doing probably 5 or 6 years ago was the turning point for us, you know, because it really got to people's actions that they took and choices that they made. Live Safe is an extension of the earlier behavioral-based training that we did. So until people have decided that they're going to change the way they've been doing things, they won't gain that safety awareness and safety consciousness. And that, to me, is Live Safe.
Since Live Safe's inception, Pioneer has been decreasing the number of people who have been injured in our work. I see a time when Pioneer will be incident injury-free. I also see a time when the industry will be incident injury-free. We're moving that direction, and we're going to get there using Live Safe principles combined with better engineering and better training of the people that we bring in. To bring more and more people into the fold, we have to ensure that they are personally committed, and we've got to show them what that personal commitment is. So one, we have to lead by example, and we have to be personally committed and continually show that. The second one is we have to continually teach people what it means to be committed.
To me, the personal commitment to safety is the foundation of what can make Live Safe work. And to try to bring more people into it, only thing I know is lead by example and train.
At Marathon, we have a slogan. It's called "All in, all the time. Every move matters," and it really has a foundation in the fact that we have three keen senses. We have the head, we have the heart, we have the gut. The head meaning all the training and skills that we've attained over time. The heart, knowing the difference between right and wrong, and the gut, meaning that butterfly effect when you just feel like something isn't right. And The concept being that if all three of those are not aligned, then it's time to stop the job. Whether you're walking across location, whether you're swinging a hammer or turning a wrench, every single move matters and really can be the difference between either having an injury or not having an injury, being in the moment, all in all the time, being focused to the point where you're trying to recognize all the hazards around you and eliminate those so that we can achieve that zero incident workplace.
As a new hire to Marathon, we'd encourage you to accept and believe in our value system. A key piece of that is our all-in, all-the-time philosophy around safety. That speaks to your head and your heart and your gut. The belief that if you think it with your head, if you feel it with your heart, or if you sense it in your gut, you have the ability to stop the job and to work in a safe environment. We owe that to you, you owe that to us, and that is an expectation of your job, that you stop the job and act all in, all the time.
When you investigate an accident, there are usually several instances in the chain of events that led to that accident where there was an opportunity to stop the job. I think the key is learning that lesson, stopping that at-risk behavior before it leads to an accident, not waiting to get a wake-up call with somebody getting hurt.
We expect our employees to stop the job. We not only give them the right, but we hold them responsible for stopping the job.
Everybody on location, regardless of their position, has the authority to stop an operation if they see something that they feel is unsafe. And we can shut it down, we can gather everybody up and talk about the situation and then go forward. And nobody in this company will ever get upset if it says on a drilling report that we shut down for 30 minutes to discuss an issue related to safety.
It is critically important that the individual at the well site stop things when it doesn't feel right for them. Our management systems grant each person the right to stop work. They have that authority, and it's incumbent on them to take that responsibility and exercise that. We do that by teaching. We teach what stop work authority is. Our clients talk to us about stop work authority all the time.
Recognizing when a change in job scope occurs and addressing that situation with your stop the job authority to reset the expectations on the locations, to identify the new hazards that may arise with a change in the scope. It's a key piece to being successful in the industry.
Well, I view the stop work authority through the live safe lens. And so from that vantage point, a person has the right to stop any unsafe act. You have an obligation to call out to whoever those parties are and warn them of the risks that they're taking.
Stop work authority is really one of those foundational principles that we have to have in our operation. And it really stems from the belief that no job, no amount of time, no amount of money is worth getting somebody injured.
We all want to go home at the end of the day. We all want to see our families at the end of the hitch. We want to see our friends. That's the most important thing in our lives. The job is the job. But being safe and going home, enjoying our life, that's what we're all here for.
If something happens to you, how many people does it affect? And we want people to stop and think about that for a minute, because it could go from their parents to their kids to their family members, neighbors. Everyone who comes into touch with you as a person every day will be affected.
Unfortunately, in my career, I've had to be a part of these conversations with employees' families that are very difficult. And it really gives you a different perspective on the guy you know at work, but understanding there's a lot of people that pinned him. There's a lot of people that love him. And when he's not a part of their life, or he's not able to provide the same level of income to support his family, that's where that personal relationship to safety really comes into play.
I don't ever want to hear of another death in our company. That's why we're working so hard, is to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future.
It's not about, just delivering the job. It's about delivering that job in a manner that is well planned and is conducted in a safe manner. I firmly believe that a safe operation starts with having a well-planned operation. And a well-planned operation is an efficient operation.
In our safety meetings, we bring in a topic that's for home, and we always bring a home topic, and it may be cutting grass, using your personal protective equipment at home, safety glasses, steel-toe boots, long pants, but we actually bring all this information in the workplace, but share it when they go home as well. So very important for us to, for my commitment, that they practice safety 100% at work and take that 100% back home. When I'm looking at, when I see an employee, a Pioneer employee, I don't only see him, I see his family, his wife, his kids, his grandkids, the mother, father. That's what I see. So there's just not that one person that I look at. When you look at it, you're protecting several of his family members and friends. So it goes very, very personal to me.
Well, it's important to have a personal relationship with safety because that is what drives the conversation in your mind. We all have a results-oriented personality. We like to get things done. But if we've got the conversation in our mind to think safety and we are personally responsible for our own safety and are constantly thinking about it, that relationship will help us, whether we're at work or we're at home or we're driving down the highway, for us to do those tasks in the safest possible way.
If it's just all about, we have to have a JSA before every tower, and we're going to do it, it's just we're going through the motions. We need to do it because it's right.
The major area that I would like to see us achieve is having partners, contractors, and service providers that share our core value of safety, and that we are not trying to establish that with them like we are today, but that we are both on the same page.
If a contractor can't show us that they want to operate in a safe and efficient manner, then we can't do business with them, period.
I believe that the industry has the ability to operate in a zero incident environment. And every day I care about how that operation is proceeding. I care about the individuals on the location. I care about the operation. I care about them for the right reasons.
If we can onboard the people with the right attitude that could fit into our culture, we'll have a much greater opportunity to train them and to retain them. And if you can retain people that share the culture, that it further permeates that culture throughout and touches all the distant facets within the company. I see companies believing for the first time that this industry can be safe, and they're putting a lot of resources, time, and financial to make it happen. I have the greatest sense of accomplishment from what the company has done with respect to Live Safe and safety. You know, we've got the best culture of any company I've ever known, and I think that people are committed to it, certainly at senior management level positions and lots of middle management positions. And in the safety organization, I see a tremendous amount of commitment. And I think that's what keeps people at the company, is people like that. They like the culture. They think it's important. I think people are extremely proud of the jobs that they're doing to keep folks safe. It's something that we all should be very, very proud of. And my hat's off to people like yourself, others in safety, all of our managers that have taken the leadership roles on. I think we've accomplished a great deal that we ought to be very proud of.
you'll see me doing a lot of nodding and stuff, and, you know, because I can't. I want to say yeah, you know, and stuff, but I can't. So you'll see me doing a lot of nodding. while you're talking.
How about we just put this up here?
There you go.
I got that.
Pour half of that.
That's one of the bloopers.
Pour half of that into the red building cup.
Yeah.